Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 6.
An odd type of multiple burglaries have police believing the culprits are all the same. Thanks for joining us. Mike has the evening off. Police say thieves have been cutting holes through metal building walls through the holidays and breaking into safes. Valley News Team's Krista Baim is live outside the truck dealership Fargo Freightliner, where they're looking at stepping up security after a thief cut the way inside. Krista?
Hey, Steph, we're actually right behind Fargo Freightliner where you can see the hole that is now patched up, and it's just about as tall as I am, maybe even a little bit taller. A thief cut the hole through to get inside Fargo Freightliner and used the business's own tools to break into the safe here. And they only were able to get a small amount of cash and some change over the Christmas holiday, while two other places were also victims over the New Year's holiday. And police say all seem to be connected after noticing all the holes were cut in a similar fashion like you see out here. Nelson International, another trucking dealership, and the Dakota Boys and Girls Ranch warehouse on 38th Street North were also cut through the building. The Dakota Boys and Girls Ranch says the thief walked out with barely $10. Fargo police tell me it's an uncommon situation, but they recommend for people, if they do have some concerns with this, to get some motion activated alarm systems. So if you have any concerns, that's their best recommendation, along with, of course, having surveillance video. A similar burglary took place last summer at RDO Trucking in June, and it's a similar situation where they're cutting through buildings. They don't have any suspects as of now. Reporting live in Fargo, Krista Baim, Valley News Live.
All right, Krista, thank you. Police are not releasing how much money total was stolen, but the thief did get away with a few tools from the truck dealerships. A proposal for a new apartment complex in a quiet neighborhood just north of downtown Grand Forks is causing a bit of concern. Some homeowners are wondering if the new proposed complex could mean more problems with more people and traffic. Valley News Team's Neil Carlson shows us what's happening.
Simonson's Lumber plans on moving its longtime business on North 3rd Street out near Columbia Mall. They've proposed tearing all this down and building a 4-story, 70-unit apartment complex with 127 bedrooms and the possibility of an extra 127 cars and people in this quiet neighborhood.
The quietness of this neighborhood, I think we all enjoy it. Okay. The neighbors and I know next door neighbor has some thoughts too.
Okay. You'd rather not see it, or you could live with it?
I could probably live with it. Just getting there might be some disturbance for all of us, but okay. I think we'd be okay in the end.
City planners don't expect any big hurdles in having the initial plan approved by the zoning committee this week. However, they note that folks who live in the area will get a chance to have their voices heard before the project can get the final okay from the city council.
And prior to the public hearing, we have the developer hold a neighborhood meeting. Okay. With enough time prior to the public hearing to help them vet through the scenarios of what the development will be about.
In Grand Forks, Neil Carlson, Valley News Live.
The proposal for that apartment complex initially started out as a proposal to build townhomes, which would have meant fewer people and cars in that neighborhood. Well, to our weather, very, very mild winter conditions out there today. Still chilly, but are those mild, kind of chilly temperatures going to stick around? Let's talk to Hutch Johnson for a first look at our forecast. Hutch?
Hutch says enjoy while you can, because temperatures right now very mild. The wind has died off, and the fog and haze are definitely going to be the main issue tonight across the region. As a storm system lifts out of the southern plains into the Great Lakes region, we'll see an increase in clouds. Low teens in the Devil's Lake Basin and the James River Valley this evening, while temperatures hold steady near 30 degrees in the southern Red River Valley in southeast North Dakota. Your hour-by-hour planner for Fargo this evening shows between now and bedtime will almost stay put temperature-wise, light winds. This will not be the case. Mighty cold air will take hold. I'll have details on when. We'll have a chance of snow as well. We'll tell you all about it and have an update for those of you planning on traveling to Frisco as well here in a moment.
All right, Hutch, thank you. The Associate Superintendent of Fargo Public Schools is agreeing with the decision not to allow a senior's photo in this year's yearbook. Now, this picture in question is showing Josh Renville in an American flag tank top with a firearm over his shoulder, standing next to an American flag. The principal says the picture violates school policy and state and federal laws outlawing weapons within 1,000 feet of a school. Renville appealed Principal Dolan's decision, hoping the photo would be allowed. But if he chooses, he can also appeal once more to Fargo Superintendent Jeffrey Schatz. Background checks for all firearm purchases, whether you're at a gun show or selling and buying online. It's just one part of sweeping new gun control laws outlined by President Obama today. The expanded background checks mean hundreds of new employees for both the FBI and the ATF as they seek to process the reports and track illegal guns. The changes also include removing barriers for states to report mental health information to the government, excluding people the feds believing that should not own guns. But these executive orders do not sit well with North Dakota Senator John Hoeven, who calls the real issues at hand to be mental health and terrorism. He says, quote, "The problem is when President Obama doesn't get what he wants. Instead of working with Congress, he tries to go around Congress. That is not within his authority. He should not be doing it." We've posted a link for the full rundown of the president's executive actions on all this, along with a response from the NRA. To read this, just go to our website, valleynewslive.com, and click on this story. A Barnes County man pleaded guilty today after he was arrested back in September for property theft charges. Stephen Weber was arrested for theft of property, carrying a concealed firearm, and driving with a suspended license. Weber and his accomplice, Angela Foster, stole 4 portable generators that are worth $1,000 each and a service fuel tank. Foster's trial is still pending. A correction for you now in a story we ran yesterday. We originally reported that a trial was set to begin today for Scott Moen, one of 4 men accused in the beating death outside of a Fargo bar. Moen pleaded guilty in this case, so the trial was canceled. He will be sentenced in February. Moen is among those charged with the murder and death of Joey Garsland. The 4 are accused of kicking and punching Garsland during a brawl outside of Rick's Bar. There has been a dire prediction about North Dakota's oil industry, and it's impacting the state budget as the price of oil just continues to drop. President of the North Dakota Petroleum Council, Ron Ness, says the boom may have slowed, but there's still a lot to be excited about. Today, Ness says just because the price of oil is down doesn't mean the market for it has gone away. In fact, Ness says the state is producing more than 1 million barrels of oil every day. A new state revenue forecast is expected this month. That forecast will give North Dakota's decision makers a look at how many dollars they can expect coming into the state's coffers this year. And the focus of that report will most certainly be on oil dollars. It'll likely be one of the determining factors as to whether or not budget cuts will be necessary. Well, it's Tuesday, and that means it's time for another restaurant report card. This week, we dive into Fargo restaurants with critical violations. Valley News Team's Christine Stanwood joins us live in studio with much more. Christine?
Stephanie, after reviewing a handful of inspections from the health department, we found 3 restaurants with serious offenses. Our first stop we made was at Season Buffet off Main Avenue. Their most recent report from the health department shows that they were marked with 2 critical and 5 non-critical violations. Dirty freezer floors, no soap in the dishwasher, and boxes of food were stored near the Bob sink. Those were just some of the most serious violations. Management tells me they try to keep clean. Now, Bab's Coffee House off Main Avenue in downtown Fargo received 2 critical violations for food that was kept at too warm of temperatures in their coolers. Since the inspection, the coffee house is under new management. The current manager assures me that those 2 violations were corrected the day of inspection. He adds that himself and his staff work constantly to work better and keep every part in the restaurant clean. And Grand Junction off 19th Avenue was written up for 2 critical and 4 non-critical violations from the health department. When I went to the store, there was a sign posted that the restaurant is under remodeling. Some of their most serious offenses include a can opener of built-up debris and unmarked chemical spray in a bottle. This is also the same Grand Junction where a customer found a screw in their sandwich just a few weeks ago. Those are all the inspections for this week. Stephanie?
All right, Christine, thank you. And this week's Clean Plate Award winner is Barbacoa off of 42nd Street in Fargo for having a spotless report. The manager of that new restaurant was thrilled to find out the news. Be sure to catch this report and all others at valleynewslive.com. How is your New Year's resolution going so far? If you resolve to get rid of credit card debt, we've got some tips for you later at 6.
Currently, we have temperatures about 10 degrees above average for this time of the year, but a cold pool of air is ready to dive south. Late week snow and Arctic chill is on the way. Your hour-by-hour forecast is coming up right after this.